It was 4 years ago today. NASCAR 21 Ignition released on October 28th, 2021 as we revisit the game 4 years later, and hopefully for the final time ever, because hopefully by this time next year, NASCAR 25, the new title from iRacing, will be released by that point. Nonetheless, we are here on NASCAR 21 Ignition to check it out 4 years to the day later and see just how bad the game plays and whatnot. And we start things off as Kyle Larson, and I wanted to go to Phoenix and immediately go and try no assists and get a feel for what this game was like without any assists. Oh, they are crashing on our outside. That's no big deal. But we're not trying to go and win races or do anything like that. We're not looking for finishing positions. We're just trying to see how bad the game is and how it plays still. And you can see with no assists, the game not easy at all. I was recording this on a controller. My wheel, not compatible whatsoever, does not work in this game. It's a Moza wheel, and even though there's games that are, what is going on here? This game has not changed at all. In 4 years, we are stopping in the middle of the racetrack. Cautions are off because the races are short, but there's games that are a decade old that I can use my current wheel in, even without the proper support, and in NASCAR 21 Ignition I can't. It's pretty funny, quite comical here now. And speaking of comical, this. So I decided, okay, we can keep assists off and let's try Denny Hamlin out at Talladega, and maybe assists are going to need to be on. I did have some hope. I said, okay, let's give it another shot and see what we can do here as we do it again. So assists go on, and I turned stability control on to medium and traction control onto low, and it made the world of difference. It was back to kind of what I remembered back in like 2021, early 2022 when I was playing this game semi-regularly. And we are here at the Talladega Super Speedway. Just wanted to spend a few laps doing some pack racing to see what it was like, and it was similar to what it used to be. You would get this group of cars right here, but the pack racing is so not right. They stack each other up and they clump up, they slow each other down, and then the cars at the front just drive away, and things just get like really spread out. And in short form, it's not good. It's pretty bad. Bump drafting does work. You can push the car still, of course, and they're going to go forward, but when you're in a pack like this, it's obviously not going to matter. It can't really work. But yeah, pack racing, so broken in this game, just like everything else, of course, just about, as we find ourselves 4 wide briefly here, actually colliding with the 9 Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Camaro there of Chase Elliott. Hamlin Elliott have a nice history back from 2017, now picking it back up here 7 years later, as yeah, it was really interesting to just kind of come back to this and mess around, and as I right hook the 41 into the outside wall right there, and just see what we can do now. And I was trying to mess around with bump drafting and see what we could do, and you could find some time, but it's really hard to get a car in front of you to consistently stay on your nose and actually make a big impact. And then I finally got tired of Talladega and turned around and decided I was going to run into the whole field. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Nonetheless, we move on from plate racing. I wanted to go back into the next gen car, and of course that was the DLC that came out for this game, and we eventually saw, you know, Motorsport Games bring this over into NASCAR Heat 5 and completely screw it up there, and then as they've screwed up everything they've touched, of course, but running as Kyle Larson's Valvoline Chevrolet Camaro here at the Indianapolis road course, and road course racing was, in terms of the driving in NASCAR 21 Ignition, this was the kind of the peak, the highlight of NASCAR 21 Ignition was always road courses. The car always actually felt okay when it came to road racing in this game, and that wasn't a huge surprise because there was so much R factor influence in NASCAR 21 Ignition, and of course that is a road racing based game as we absolutely annihilate the back of the Menards Ford Mustang 12 for Penske Racing of Ryan Blaney. Then we finish him off, move up into P4 behind Harrison Burton in the 21 Wood Brothers Ford Mustang on this final lap here in Indy. But yeah, I mean, honestly, driving around this track was fine. The driving's good when it comes to Indy Road, but of course the AIs still, I mean, they're pretty lackluster even on the road courses now, as we look for a move up the inside side of the 21. We're actually going to just give him a little shot to the right rear. That I was not trying to do. I was trying to move him, but not like that. But we get past him, and we would end up P3 as Ty Dillon. And the 42 wins over Kyle Busch and myself, Elliott Burton, your top 5. Cody Ware, oh dear, in P6 now. As we come through to Nashville in the next-gen car, running as the 2024 winner, Joey Logano, after the 5 overtime attempts here now. And I was running all of these races on the stable setup, and the AI difficulty was also the same. It was one level down from the top, so it was on champion difficulty instead of extreme difficulty for the AI. But yeah, I mean, the stable setup kind of varies at tracks and how it's going to, make your car handle. And here, it was extremely tight. I noticed in the next-gen car, and I didn't notice it in the 2021 Gen 6 car, but in the next-gen car, the brakes like to do that. They like to lock up, and then, of course, the front end's going to slide and head towards the barrier. So the 2021 car really wasn't doing that. There is an assist where you can turn on ABS, but I left that off. But yeah, nonetheless, the tires lock up a lot easier in the next gen car compared to the Generation 6 cars. You can just see how tight we are. This was not fun. Nashville has never been fun in NASCAR 21 Ignition, no matter what car it is, Gen 6 or the next gen. It's just horrific all the way around. So we brought it home after 6 laps in dead last, and overall, the AI, as we come to Bristol as Daniel Suarez, you see the same characteristics from the AI throughout every racetrack. And that's kind of the killer of this game to me, the main killer. I mean, there's a lot of issues, bugs and whatnot, but the driving, you can kind of handle it. You can kind of manage it at the majority of tracks if you turn on some of the assists like steering assistance and whatnot, traction control, although you don't want to have those assists. The game's just really rough and you need those assists, and it makes it bearable, but the AI is what kills the game. They're just not good. They don't feel natural. They don't look like real life NASCAR cars racing around a track. They're very just kind of on a very specific rail kind of line. They'll move really awkwardly even on straightaways sometimes, and they just don't look proper, and they don't give room a lot of the time, and they, as you can see, run into each other. Right in front of us, the Busch brothers going at it, the 45 and the 18, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, and it's just the same thing over and over again. So you're just not getting a great experience, of course, and they clump together a lot, slowing each other down, and it's just not good. If you want a proper NASCAR game AI experience, the absolute best AI experience you're going to get, in my opinion, is NASCAR Heat 4 / NASCAR Heat 5. Either one of those games now, as I wanted to check out another short track here, Martinsville, and I mean, and you see what I'm talking about with the AI. Why are they doing that? That makes absolutely no sense. That is nowhere close to what you would ever see in real life, and they just love to do that. Their cars kind of wobble around, and then they shift 3 lanes up the racetrack, center towards the exit of the corner, and then they run into each other like that. It just never makes sense. I mean, you see Truex and the 10 car of Almirola glued together. I mean, nothing ever makes sense with the AI in NASCAR 21 Ignition. I think that's always been kind of the frustrating part of this game, outside of the other blatant issues and whatnot. So you can see, I mean, look at the 5 car right there sliding around. Is actually bulldozed through the 19 of Martin Truex Jr. I got very tired of the short tracks pretty quick here now, and almost like real life. The highlight of NASCAR 21 Ignition is mile and a halves, kind of like how real life the highlight of the next gen cars is mile and a halves, and we're going to check out some mile and a half racing. So I took the number 45 actually to Kansas, and I also wanted to do a bit of a test on the differentiation of the actual driving on the same track between the next gen car and the Gen 6 car, and I just noticed on the stable setup overall, the next gen car is a lot tighter than the Generation 6 Cup car. As you can see, us getting absolutely blown away by the 31. I actually did up the difficulty for this race specifically. I went to the highest difficulty of Extreme with the AI and just was trying to see what they could do, but I couldn't do anything. I was terrible, and you can just see how tight I am going into the outside wall. So I immediately went over to the Gen 6 cars, Ryan Blaney, and same track, same setup, car way less tight. way freer, and you could also just, hook the outside a little bit better. The car wasn't too, like I said, tight to where it's going to go to the wall, so you can really open it up, get up towards that wall if you want. But of course, it is a bit of an art, even in the game that sucks. There's still a bit of an art to run that outside wall. And at the end of the day, this is basically one of the tracks that's supposed to be like the peak NASCAR 21 Ignition, and it's still not really that fun. The game's just simply not fun. 4 years later, it still sucks. Does it suck as bad as it did in the first couple of weeks? No, but that doesn't change the fact that it still sucks. It's a terrible game, and I can't believe, looking back on it now, it's still been now 4 years since we've had a release of a NASCAR game. That's quite crazy to think about. Obviously, iRacing has come in, and they are attempting to save the day, and there's definitely a lot of hope for me from going into the iRacing side of things. I think they've got all the resources they need, all the assets they need to make a great game. And of course, they are working with Monster Games, who worked on, developed NASCAR Heat 5, so that is going to be quite exciting. I did have a fun few battles right here with the AI, actually, on the Kansas Speedway, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world as I used up that 9 of Chase Elliott, but yeah, just still overall not that great, and then I wrecked myself at the end. I decided to finish it off here with the race that we decided in real life. Homestead, Miami as the number 45, Kurt Busch, but Tyler Reddick, of course, winning car number 45 in real life, so I wanted to use this 45 to cap things off. But what an interesting kind of landslide this game sent the NASCAR gaming world into, of course, so quickly after the release. And has it recovered? I would say not really. It's still not in a good place until we get a new game, and at least till we get some announcements, a reveal, a trailer, gameplay, whatever it might be. And I would imagine we're not going to see any of that until sometime next year, maybe hopefully in the off season. That would be kind of cool. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, and I'm also at this moment of recording this and commentating on this. Just want to say thank you. I'm very thankful to everyone that's stuck around on the channel or has come into the channel through the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode, because although the NASCAR gaming kind of community died out, you guys have continued to support the Heat 5 career mode, and I know a lot of you love it, and I love it too, and we are going to keep it rolling all the way through into NASCAR 25 whenever that comes out in fall of 2025. So basically almost a whole year still of a NASCAR Heat 5 career mode, plenty of episodes to go. It's been an absolute blast, and it's incredible to think that this game was so bad we were able to go back to the last game and still have a kind of successful adventure here. Now, as you can see me failing at running the outside wall here in Homestead, Miami. But yeah, honestly, I think that's the most fun about this game 4 years later, is actually trying to master running the outside wall on some of these 1.5 miles, like a Kansas or like a Homestead, Miami, and I sucked at it. Maybe it was even my controller settings being a little bit off, but I'm not going to use that as an excuse. No, I just suck on a controller in general, so I was pretty bad. But yeah, it was still actually a little bit of fun trying to navigate around some of the AI here and get the momentum working on the top. So that's kind of the only bits of fun I was having, is trying to run the top and race with the AI, doing that on Kansas and Homestead. Everywhere else, not a good time at all, as we just barely scraped the wall right there, coming to the final lap 3 wide, actually, with the 42 of Ty Dillon, the 48 of Alex Bowman there, looking at our left rear into turn 1, scraping the wall just a little bit again, but opening up that wheel, keeping it up towards the wall as we glide back down the track, sliding up there. I believe that's the 18 of Kyle Busch, and the Skittles machine has returned the 6 of Brad Keselowski, as we're going to bring it home on this final lap. It'll be P26, a pretty abysmal run, and our last run through 3 and 4 on NASCAR 21 Ignition 4 years later. P26 it'll be. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, NASCAR 21 Ignition. I hope I never see you again.